Hello and welcome to the men's final of the Australian Open. Two legends of the sport in the last match of the tournament, seeking to add to their already impressive legacy. History on the line as Rafa tries to become the first man to win all four majors multiple times. Novak looking for a record 7th Australian Open title.
Welcome to the Australian Open men's singles final. Introducing to Rod Laver Arena, the top two players in the world. First on court, the winner of 17 major championships, including the Australian Open of 2009, from Spain, Rafael Nadal. And his opponent, the winner of 14 major championships, including the Australian Opens of 2008, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2016, from Serbia, Novak Djokovic.
Well, that's the stage, and the stage is most definitely set for one of the most anticipated major finals in recent times. The 8th time that these two powerhouses of the men's game have faced off in a major final. And there is so much history on the line this evening here in Melbourne that everybody has been focused on what may or may not decide the outcome here tonight. The Norman Brooks Challenge Trophy is what they're playing for, but it's also to add an extra line on their already impressive CVs. Delighted to say I'm going to be joined by John Fitzgerald and Robbie Koenig for the entirety of this final. And evening, gentlemen, so much to look forward to, John.
Thank you, Petch. Pleasure to be here with you both. Two of my favourites, by the way, you two. So it's great to be in the same commentary box to witness what will certainly be a part of history.
Can't wait for this one to get
Rafa,
underway.
This is Chase, Rafa. Before we start, can we have a photo with Chase? Facing this way, please. Chase. Chase, you come out. Rafa, Novak, we have a photo together, please. Chase, this way. Okay, gentlemen, just a reminder, using Hawkeye, please let me know in a clearly and timely manner when you like to challenge. And the serve clock. Any questions? Nope. Chase, who would you like to ask? Rafa, Rod Laver or ANZ? Rod Laver. ANZ. Serve. Okay. Come on.
Can't ask for much more, can you? To play in the Rod Laver Arena for one of the biggest titles in the world of tennis. John, you first. Who's impressed you more at this stage getting to the final between Novak and Rafa?
I think Rafa has probably impressed me the most because I didn't think at the beginning of the tournament he would be here. He pulled out of Brisbane. There was question marks over his health and his fitness. Multiple question marks, and for him to be here, I'm rather staggered and impressed again, as he always impresses us. But I think on this surface, I'm not sure if he'll beat Novak. I think it's slightly in Novak's favour because of the history on hardcourt between the two, but we're in for a bottler.
That's a good Aussie expression, that. That's the tail of the tape. And to be honest, so much has been said, written about, that most people know exactly what these two have achieved. Robbie, for you?
I'll probably have to give Novak the edge. It's not much coming to this stage. I think they both really showed their cards in the semi-final pitch. I thought the performances from both was simply jaw-dropping. The amount of energy, the ruthlessness with which they both played, I think has teed this one up. I think initially, Nadal's had a pretty decent draw, hasn't played a top 10 opponent to get into this stage. He hasn't really been tested, has he? Whereas I think Novak's had 1 or 2 tough matches. I thought the match against Medvedev in particular was a good test. And, you know, going into this one on form, I think it's 50-50.
And there is the route through for the great Spaniard. The only match that he's been broken in against James Duckworth from Australia. A couple of times there since then. He's been unbroken, and there's been some quality as well along the way, but he has dispatched it comfortably. This is the man from Serbia who has certainly rediscovered his champion qualities in the last year. His fairly unique alchemy coming back together at Wimbledon. Got to the final of Queens. He had that quiet time with the elbow problem that he had suffered. The surgery that he had after Australia last year has put him back in position to start reeling off these Grand Slam titles as he's done so many times. It seems like business as normal for Novak now.
And I know they're both going to be fresh tonight, but I think Novak's slightly more so. He's rested. He's ready to go, and look at that face. I mean, these two champions they transcend our sport. They're like Roger Federer. The 3 champions we've had at the top for the last decade and a half, that may never be matched again. Not in our lifetimes, Mark, and probably well beyond that. So we're witnessing history of 2 of the greatest players that have ever played. If Novak wins tonight, he goes into 3rd position overall in the men's game for major championships. Rafa's already a number 2 spot behind Roger Federer. How good are these guys?
They were particularly good in the semi-finals, weren't they? They were a couple of masterpieces delivered. This is the 53rd edition of their head-to-head, and this one has had everything. It's had big finals, it's had substance, it's had right at the start, the nascent part of the journey for both of them. 2006 Roland Garros was their first ever meeting. James Kothevong in the chair from Great Britain. And this final will be in good hands with him looking after it.
It's interesting, Mark, when you have a look back at the last 16 matches they've played, though. This guy's only won 4. That is my biggest concern. We know tennis is so much about matchups. You can be playing your best tennis coming into any match, but when the guy on the other side of the court is your nemesis, it puts a different spin on things, doesn't it?
Particularly on a court that he's been so ultra consistent and victorious on over the years as well here at Melbourne. Also, let's take a look and dig a little bit deeper in terms of what he's managed to achieve against the real elite of our game on hard courts. Novak, who has a 69 match
30 seconds.
wins, 35 losses against top 5 on a hard court. You look at Rafa's stats against the top 5 on hard. He has a losing record, 125, and has lost 38. So Novak substantially better on this surface.
Remember how often he's got to play both Nadal and Federer, so that's why those numbers are even more impressive.
Ladies and
Given
gentlemen,
that, you know,
Novak
they are the
Djokovic
major
won the
leaders in our
toss
sport, Mark. So
and chose to serve.
you're exactly right. He's been incredible. Best win percentage as well on this surface. I was having a look, Fitzy, at all
End
the
of
big
one.
finals that they've played on a hard court. You know, trying to keep the relevance to this, and it's 9-3 in favour of Novak. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards him.
Yeah. Well, likewise, it's the surface for me. But you know what? Whoever wins tonight, they're going to use some kilojoules of energy. No doubt about that. We all remember the 2012 final here that went for just under 6 hours and was one of the greatest matches probably in history. And we tend to exaggerate a little bit about the guys we love and adore in this sport, but truly that was one of the greatest matches we've ever seen. Certainly here at the Australian Open, they were exhausted, these two fellas, after that. And you never know. This could be a similar rendition. We'll see.